I think in some way, one of the reasons why we never had a lot of encounters with Bob is that Bob was a little bit different from maybe a lot of the. I wouldn't want to say he was reserved, but he never was one of those people who carried an ear with him. I never remember even seeing Bob with a small entourage of people around him. No, I think as life goes on, that what I got to learn about all of that, going back as far not just about copyrights in the Caribbean, but as far as the organization in England is concerned, that PRS, I think as far back as that was concerned, Bob was ahead of most of us, of our guys, because as I learned in life about Bob Andy's um, consciousness of his reality with what really matters in your music is about ownership, because our awareness wasn't even about that. I mean, we were like into that whole phase of, listen, let's go out, let the girls like us, let people like our music, let people like us. We weren't concerned then what our rights were. But we learned of a guy called Bob Andy, my friend Keith Anderson, who was very well aware of those things. So, although we weren't having a one-to-one, we were conscious of what he was doing. Well, it's amazing that with Bob Marley, um, is that one day Bob made a statement, and he made a statement, and it reminded me so much of what we were thinking of Bob Andy, because Bob said, when we're thinking about even how much to protect the music and do what you should about it, he said, my rights is my rights, and no guy can take my rights from me. And it, 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 it gave me a reflection on Bob Andy. Who Bob was concerned about was not about how much I could get out of it, but my rights should have been respected. It's later on years, I would go and visit Bob Andy at his home. I think in later years, I became closer to Bob Andy, because at that time, the music seemed to have had some kind of a division where some people would sing of the consciousness of it, while others were just like, okay, another party. So some part of it was about the girl and the girl and underneath the girl and whatnot have you, while others still wanted to carry what I believe was the purpose of the music. How did it impact people? How did it impact a generation? This is what you are getting from a Bob Andy. How does it impact people? What is the purpose? Is that purpose just for you? I think Bob Andy was saying in his songs more of, listen, this is not just about me. This is about the world out there. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when we heard that Bob had passed, was one of the jerkers, one of the bad moments of my personal life, to know that Bob had passed. But even in his passing, I felt that his contribution, I don't know when we'll ever know the value of it, but it's very valuable. I think that what he has done for this generation of musicians will never be known probably in my lifetime, the value of it. It cannot be measured. But that Bob Andy himself was indeed gifted. He was a gifted person. And the gifts that God put in him will always be known. And somehow I just hope that we'll be able to let others know of what Bob Andy did for this generation and the generation which is yet to be created.
I feel so honored that Dole on with the young talent just come on and just do the thing that we hear. So we never know them kind of love and attention in my generation. You understand?